Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
If a person is not a very experienced driver and he has a vehicle with a manual transmission, he often has a lot of questions about the maintenance of his iron horse. One of these questions will be the following: the rules for changing the oil in the manual transmission. In this article, we will consider all questions related to this topic. Why oil is poured into the mechanics. If with the automatic transmission everything is quite clear, their oil or transmission fluid is an integral part of the automatic transmission, which transmits torque. In this regard, it is very important to follow the timely change of fluid in the automatic. But also in the mechanics, oil plays several important functions. The function of lubrication. In the manual transmission, there are many moving metal parts. Gears in operation constantly mesh with each other, and there is a natural wear and tear. The presence of transmission fluid makes this process more gentle, significantly reduces friction. Protective function. By coating all the parts, the oil forms a protection that preserves them from oxidation and corrosion. Where product removal function. Constant friction produces wear products on the parts, which in turn create the preconditions for increased friction and increased wear of the parts. It is the gear lubricant that, by washing the gears, removes these small metal crumbs. Temperature reduction function. Already after a short trip, the temperature of the oil in the gearbox rises to about 150 degrees. At the same time, the temperature in the places where the gears mesh is much higher. Thus, washing these gears, transmission fluid provides partial cooling of parts. Based on these functions, you can understand that the oil in the mechanics is a very important element. Whether it is necessary to change the oil. Realizing the importance of transmission fluid in the gearbox plays for the car, and the question arises, whether the oil in the manual transmission needs to be changed and how often. Misunderstandings in this question are added by many manufacturers of gearboxes who claim that their products do not require maintenance, and the oil is filled there for the entire life of the car. This is not quite true. The manufacturers of gearboxes nowhere indicate what period of operation of the unit can be counted on by the owner of the vehicle. But the vehicle can be used for a very, very long time. The approach to the age of the car from the manufacturer and our consumer is, to put it mildly, different. If both the manufacturer and the owner of the car in Europe believe that when the car every 7 years had a mileage of 35,000 kilometers, it is suitable only for scrap metal, in our country it is almost a new car. Taking this into account, we can assume what resource is designed for most of the consumables of the car. Here you can give unambiguous advice. Read also, oil for manual transmission. How to make the right choice. It is advisable to change the oil in the manual transmission after a mileage of 100,000 kilometers or after 7 years of operation. If the conditions under which the car was used were very difficult, the replacement work can be done much earlier. Signs of reduced quality of transmission fluid. All parts are subject to wear. The gears in the gearbox are no exception. Since the mechanics does not provide for the installation of filters, all wear products remain in the gearbox permanently. In this case, the fluid is very dark and has inclusions of chips and metal crumbs. After 0 to 250 kilometers of mileage, the lubricant most often simply loses its properties. Constantly high temperatures lead to the fact that the old oil begins to foam and also loses its lubrication properties. If in the box there are incomprehensible noises, it is a clear signal of wear of parts and work on repair and replacement of transmission. Fluid can no longer be postponed. How much oil is needed for a full replacement? The volume of transmission fluid in the gearbox is quite small, approximately 3.5 liters. More precise information on the amount and volume of lubricant in the gearbox can be found in the technical specifications of each specific model of the car. Taking into account this fact, it becomes clear that the replacement will not hit the car owner's wallet too much, especially if you do everything yourself. Today, manufacturers offer a wide variety of gear oils: mineral, semi-synthetic, and synthetic. Depending on what transmission fluid is used, the timing of oil change in the gearbox will largely depend on it. So mineral fluids are changed every 35,000 to 40,000 kilometers, semi-synthetic, 45,000 to 50,000 kilometers, synthetic, 65,000 to 70,000 kilometers. Independent oil change. If you have already decided to perform an oil change, regardless of the reason, then the work is best planned for the fall period. In winter, the whole car will be under the greatest load and everything should be ready for such functioning. Mandatory replacement is subject to transmission fluid if the car was bought from hand. After all, no one will give a guarantee that the seller told everything honestly. What you need to prepare for the convenience of work, it is necessary to prepare in advance. A container into which the spent fluid will be drained. Funnel, syringe, or thin hose about half a meter long. Rags, transmission fluid. Wrenches. Read also, blackening of engine oil. Debunking myths, step-by-step algorithm of replacement. Warm up the oil in the gearbox. For this, you need to drive about 10 kilometers. This procedure will greatly facilitate the process of complete drainage. Park the machine on a pit and secure it well. Clean the transmission fluid inlet well with a rag. If there is a dipstick for checking the fluid level, it must be removed. First, unscrew the cap on the filler neck, and only then unscrew the plug on the drain hole using a wrench. You should be careful here. The oil will be hot, and you can burn yourself badly. The liquid should be drained into a special container prepared in advance. Its volume should be slightly larger than the declared volume of the fluid in the gearbox. Let the oil drain completely. Check the condition of the cap and gasket. If the cap is in good condition, then after cleaning its magnetic part from metal shavings, screw it tightly in its original place. It is better to replace the gasket at once. Insert a funnel and a thin hose, or use a syringe, and pour the required amount of lubricant into the manual transmission. It is necessary to check the level of transmission fluid. It should not exceed the max indicator. Remove all grease drips from the gearbox housing with a rag. Otherwise, dirt will start to accumulate here. Depending on the car brand, the process we describe, how to change the oil in a manual transmission, may differ slightly. For example, you may need to dismantle the vehicle protection or remove and wash the oil pan, replace the filter and sealing ring. But the basic principles of this work remain for all brands of cars are approximately the same. Many experienced motorists note the necessity of washing the gearbox when changing the oil. There are several options here, but the simplest and most gentle is draining and pouring transmission fluid several times, until the drained fluid becomes transparent. For those vehicle owners who want to prolong the smooth operation of their car, a timely oil change is an important procedure. Every driver must monitor the operation of all the components of the car, which is impossible without control of all working fluids. It is much easier to refill or change the oil in the gearbox in time than to deal with expensive repairs later. If there is no possibility to contact specialists, this is not a difficult job, can be done qualitatively and by yourself. In conclusion, changing the oil in your manual transmission is a straightforward process that can save you both time and money. By following the steps outlined in this video, you can ensure your vehicle runs smoothly and efficiently. Remember to gather all necessary tools and materials before you begin, and always dispose of the old oil responsibly. With a little patience and attention to detail, you can take this essential maintenance task into your own hands. Thank you for watching, and happy driving.